Hello and welcome to the Inbetween Podcast. I'm user host Joe Scorn. I'm joined here by Tony Tonzadarte. How are you, Tony?
Bonjour. I'm doing. It's actually a Sunday. It's very warm.
I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. Why am I looking at a kettle right now? What is going on?
the calm TM Kettle from Russell.
Yeah.
Is it Russell Hobbs or Russell Anholmes? I can never remember.
I have no idea,
Russell
so don't
Hobbs,
ask
I
me.
guess.
But I would just say Russell Hobbs. So
It just says Russell Hobbs on the box. So
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get straight into my my stupid kettle
The
purchase.
kettle talk. You need the timestamp.
Yeah. So you can see the price there. 100 Great British pounds.
Out of stock. This man is
the last one,
directly
apparently.
responsible for taking it out of the supply chain.
It took a week to before they even shipped it to me. It was kind of insane. I guess I'd try to find it in the warehouse, or I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But no, I tested it. It says in the instructions you have to do
So is this what you would
you
call?
have to do 2 test boils.
Is this what you would call a smart kettle?
Doesn't a smart kettle need to be connected to Wi-Fi?
Is your smart kettle not connected to what? Is it a dumb kettle?
No.
What?
It's a dumb.
I thought the whole thing would be that you'd be upstairs, you'd pull up your phone, you'd hit a button, and then it'd be like, yes, your tea is ready.
So
ready to go.
Okay. I don't know what your operation of kettle cleanliness is or maintenance is, but we have found that leaving water in the kettle is the worst thing you can do. So we always make sure there's no water in the kettle for long periods of time.
Yeah, so we live in an area with hard water.
With hard water.
Yeah.
So I think as well as it's particular hard water that's quite bad for the kettles. It's other places are technically harder, but I think there's something about our water that's just something I don't know enough about the chemistry in it. But something's in it. There's just just lime scale buildup is just horrendous. So we'll see. We'll see. As a replaceable filter, so hopefully that's the only thing that gets.
How many filters do you get?
We'll see.
Just the one.
It's just the one, but you can buy more. I don't know. It's just a bit of plastic with a mesh on it, so you can clean it.
I'm somebody who drinks 5 cups of tea a day, so I'm constantly boiling a kettle. So I'm if you're spending a bunch of money on a kettle, that makes sense to me if it's fast.
You want a fast boil, yeah. So do other kettles with the fast boil?
Because you were it's quiet, and I was I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I care about.
I don't care how much sound my kettle makes. I'm walking around the house with noise-canceling headphones on.
Yeah,
I could be making insane noises for all I care, personally.
When I'm doing when I'm making a brew in the morning, I don't have anything on, so it does annoy me. And also we this is my personal kettle, but our family kettle, after dinner or something, or after lunch, people make teas, and there's I want me to stop talking. Is it's not okay. The current kettle with a family have isn't always loud, but as it builds up lime scale and and it has within a week it becomes really loud.
Right.
It's just very annoying to talk over. So to me, having, I don't know, maybe I'm just more sound sensitive, but I just hate loud things.
Well, I've recently got a smart tumble dryer, and now that is connected to the Wi-Fi. I don't think I told about this, but it gives me notifications on my phone when the tumbling is done, because it doesn't. Because I know what you're saying, because I was well, surely you set a time, and you just set a timer, and you could do the same thing.
Yeah,
but
that's what I do.
It basically, I don't know how it does this, but it basically it weighs the washing, kind of gets an idea of, and it dynamically changes it based on how dry it is. It kind of has a sense of how, and it has a sense of how dry it is, and it changes the time.
I assume it has humidity sensor. My issue with that, and maybe it's just like I suppose like different products would do it differently, and I suppose more expensive products would do it better. But like I've always had issues with like automatic drying with tumble dryer stuff, so I always just go. I mean, this is a university one, and it didn't have like this sensing thing at all. But I've like set it, I let it go, and it's like, oh, it's a normal amount. It's like, oh, I've stopped. It's like, yeah, but you're still damp clothes.
But my
do it again.
My parents, they always buy kettles based on how they look, and they're always like how they look and what's the cheapest. So it's like, this is a cheap kettle and it looks good, let's get this one. And I'm always like sitting there for like 2 or 3 minutes being like, so, I want tea quicker.
2-3 minutes? Well, how? Okay, hang on. Okay, so we're getting to how quick this kettle boils out. Okay. How much water do you putting in? Like, how do you know? Like, how like in cups? About like how many cups are you putting in at a time?
I couldn't tell you in cups.
Like just enough, more than enough. Like
I put in enough for 2 cups usually.
At least 2 cups.
Okay. At least 2 cups usually, because I make one for me and my dad. So
yeah, so I assume all kettles are standardized at this point. As far as I can tell, all kettles have like 1.7 liters of capacity.
Right.
This is no different. It has cup scale on the side. We filled it up to 2 cups. I'm having to compensate a little bit because it was like, as I was saying before, is like it recommends when you first get it, like do two boils, get rid of the what they call manufacturing dust.
Boil the grease.
So I did that. Yeah, we did 2 of those. Then the third one we did it properly. So it actually started about, I don't know, like 35 degrees. So I'm adding a little bit extra time to it. I think we set it to 95 degrees as well, so you might have to compensate for that.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you about, because you said you can set it to not boil all the way to 100%, and I was like, why would you ever want to do that?
Because the tea's not meant to be at 100.
What is it supposed to be at?
95.
Okay.
And coffee is meant to be at 90.
Right, okay.
Also, my mum, for example, like she always like she doesn't like hot, like she doesn't want it to be hot, like she wants to be able to drink it, maybe not immediately, but like she likes it a lot cooler. I say a lot, like maybe like 5 degrees cooler. But like she always like on normal care, like she always stops the boil like early. It's like this is just a way to like you can program that in. It's like just do it 5 degrees, 10 degrees less, or whatever you decide to do.
Right.
I wouldn't go below under too much like 90 because it does cool down very quickly. Because I think in the end, like you're actually drinking it about like 45 degrees. I want to say like by the time it cools down,
like for me,
you want it at like 90 degrees.
I'm not somebody who like immediately drinks off the boiling kettle. No. It's a bit too warm for me. But because like my mum was like, you should get a thermos for tea, so then when you put it down and forget about it, it doesn't get cold. And I was like, that never happens for me because I always just immediately drink my tea. I'm always drinking tea. So like.
So that's fair. I think for coffee, especially that you can easily burn it, and I think technically, if you do it too hot, that you immediately like reduce the taste of it. Like with coffee, especially, you want it less.
But one thing,
maybe it doesn't matter.
What's different about this and like a boiling water tap? Because this is like some of the cheaper boiling water taps are getting into this price range to have them like.
The lowest I've seen them is like $250, but yeah. Right. And is that all the installations of it? Because you need like a little tank.
You need a tank and you need like a custom installation. So it's probably like an installation fee.
Because it has you have basically a boiling immersion heater and a tank, so you can immediately like put the boiling water out the tap.
But somebody who's like, I don't care about what the kettle looks like. I'm literally function over form. I just want to drink tea as quickly as possible. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, I want the tap. My dream is to have the tap of boiling water ready.
Yeah. I mean, cooker was the first. I always call it a cooker tap. But yeah, it's just like a boiling tap effectively. I was gonna say, I'll go back to the time of this though. So two cups full took 40. I'm compensating. I actually took less than this, but again, it started hotter. I'm gonna say 45 seconds to fully boil. But again, it's to 95.
Right. Okay.
Which is what I would recommend saying it to. I don't think there's any point actually going 100 unless we're like using it to put into pasta sort of thing, like onto like a hob.
But like,
no, is that quick? Like, so how long did you're saying it's
I don't know,
a couple of minutes?
Yeah, it's just the bog standard. Like, this kettle is okay.
Oh, God, okay. Maybe I've not used like a cheap kettle in a long time. Like, we have a I can't remember what it is, but it's like a. It was bought for looks. For my parents bought it for looks.
According to
it's like higher end.
This AI overview from Google, which I'm going to just innately trust. The Russell Hobbs Velocity Kettle is often cited as the fastest kettle, claiming to boil 1 cup of water in 38 seconds. So it seems like Russell Hobbs do very quick kettles in general.
Yeah. So they have different features. Like this one has like the quiet feature, but it doesn't have the fast boil like on the box. Whereas the other Russell Hobbs stuff and other kettles from other brands will also have like this has fast boil, this has quiet boil. I specifically look for one for quiet boil, and but I also just really like the look of this kettle. And man, having a glass, like it's technically glass, like just frosted glass sort of kettle, like I just think it looks really cool. Like I was looking like to see how far, like how much water I was putting in. I was looking inside of it. I was like, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of cool. The other thing I didn't even realize, but it does actually say. I think. I think it's like the fourth point. The fourth bullet.
Go on.
It's like it keeps it warm. So like if you just like leave it, like slightly like you get the temperature, and then if it goes below, like slightly boil it again to like keep it at the temperature while you have it docked for 15 minutes.
That's quite good.
That is huge to me. Like because to me,
I'm
like
usually
like
sometimes I'll go down in the morning and I will boil the kettle when I get up, and then I'll go and brush my teeth and have a shower, and then I'll come back down so it boils slightly quicker because the water's been boiled before, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But that is a nice feature to have.
I've done many times with like I'm making like a cup of tea, and it's like I'm trying to time like my breakfast with it. And then like I've done something stupid, or like I had to like throw away the cereal box or do something else, and I come back and like, I pour it. Oh wait, no, it's now going to be. It's too cold. So I put it in the microwave because it's like too cold.
Okay.
So damn it.
But Tony,
that happens to you a lot.
I'm looking at a list of. I just looked up like best kettles, and number 6, best voice activated option: the Swan Alexa Smart Kettle for £80 at Amazon.
Why do you want it?
Tony, picture the scene. You walk downstairs and you say, "Computer, tea Earl Grey hot." Need I say more?
I'd rather just have a burn panel and a selection. I'm going to be honest. I like the tactile and visual and like physical tactile feedback. I don't like
almost never use
even watching TNG. Them talking to the light to turn it on. I'm like, why don't you just have a light switch? It'd be a lot quicker.
It'd be considered a piece of art.
The Red Dwarf Legion episode. Yes, but my okay. This is a tangent. This is tangerining. Okay. My perfect system would be you have these dumb buttons connected to a smart system, and you can do voice activate stuff that are more complicated if you want, but the easy, quick access buttons are still there in case you just want to do a really simple, quick task.
Okay.
Like computer turn lights on, it's a lot slower than me walking to the switch and just hitting it.
Depends how fast you move, really, isn't it?
You normally want to do it when you walk into the room, or it's just turn on automatically.
Presence detection. There it is. Okay. You want to talk about?
Okay, I will say this. My final review of the kettle is that it's not £100 kettle. It should be like 75, in my opinion.
It's too expensive. You think it's too expensive?
It's too expensive. Yeah. Okay. It looks nice, but I like it. Like it's it has everything I want. Hopefully it lasts. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll do a long-term review later, maybe.
Yeah, because like we have hard fucking water, so that thing could get wrecked.
It's also my problem with a lot of product reviews is like people get stuck in the but how good is it now? And it's like, yeah, but that's like it's brand new. It's like it's always going to be in its best form, brand new. Like how long? Like I want to know how long it lasts. I want like a year, 2 year, 3 year sort of follow up. I feel like
according to Russell Hobbs, you have a 2 years warranty. So if something goes wrong,
why? If I register, I have 3 years. But yeah, I have 2 years minimum. But I don't know. I haven't read the terms and conditions of that. It's like, well, are you setting up a hard board for it, you dumbass? That's not covered.
Yeah. My sister has. She is a member of Amazon Vine, which is basically a thing. If you review a lot of stuff in Amazon, you can get invited to review stuff on there, and they'll basically just send you the product for free, and then you review it, and then they let you keep the product. So she usually comes to my house and just hands me things that she's like, "You're probably interested in this." And she handed me a controller that I'd never heard of. It's called the Manba One, and she literally just handed this to me today. So maybe I'll talk about this next podcast. I'll give a review on the Manba One. But I was like, I've never heard of this, but I was looking at it and was like, this is actually like a legit controller. Like it has. I've never used Hall effect joysticks, but this has like Hall effects joysticks. It has Hall effect triggers. It has a fucking LED screen in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, which is just like wild to me. I've never seen that before. But I'm like, that kind of makes sense when you're like switching it between like Bluetooth or switch mode or whatever, right? And it has like tactile, like very like tactile clicky buttons on it. Okay.
I think I was looking it up, and it's like I was looking at the version 2.
It has like
I like the controller in white.
Yeah.
But you can like change because I get the whole effect. Like the whole point is that you can change like how it detects like the range, so you can like say like how big the dead zones are, like any sort of like compensation you can add to it. So I guess you can change the settings there.
With my, because the controller it reminds me of the most is the Elite controller. The Elite controller definitely ergonomically is a lot better in terms of like it has the grippiness on the sides, and it also just feels better in the hand. This one feels a bit like more weirdly shaped, and I think that's to do with the squareness of the screen in the middle.
Oh right, okay.
But yeah, I will give it a go because I was playing Street Fighter with my Elite Series 2, and I was really struggling to drive rush people on the analog sticks, and I could do it consistently on the D-pad, and I'm like, I think my sticks are fucking drifting potentially. So I was getting really annoyed by that.
Right.
So maybe I'll give it a
So you tried the controller yet then?
I've literally been handed it today, and I've been so busy.
Oh, it's today you handed
it.
Okay, right.
No, but I'll talk about it next week.
I'm curious, like how Hall effect stuff. I've never tried.
Yeah, I want to give it a go. Either, my brother got one, like a. I think he literally watched like that Linus Tech Tips video of like them doing a bunch of controllers 1v1s on like a Madness bracket.
Yeah.
And he got one. Yeah. I think he uses when he docks his Steam Deck, and he says he quite likes the Hall effect. I have a Hall effect keyboard, so I have used a Hall effect product.
Yeah.
So, which I didn't talk about. I don't think I talked about this last week. My keyboard started going like crazy and doing phantom presses, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on wrong with my keyboard?" And I did a bunch of stuff to troubleshoot it, and it wasn't fixing it. I contacted Wooting support, and they were like, "Yo, can you take apart your keyboard?" And immediately my reaction was like, "Okay, this is kind of like." Normally you wouldn't be expected to take apart your keyboard, but then I understand it's like a DIY brand, and like literally to take apart the Wooting keyboard, it's literally 6 screws on the back. You take it off. They sent me a video, and everything is labeled, and it was so easy to do. And I literally like the JIT connector in shipping had come loose. I replug it in. It's been working perfectly since. And
so
they're
like
just
an internal like cable connector came out.
Yeah, it connects like the daughter board to the motherboard sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's where the USB connection goes in, and it was like disconnecting from the USB and doing phantom presses, and eventually it got to a point where it wouldn't even power on because the thing had come loose, so I had to replug it in, and then it just worked. It was good. So I did want to talk about Bobby Lee's podcast, which is not something I thought I was going to lead with. So I was on
Lee's podcast.
I was on YouTube, right? And it pops up that I know Bobby Lee, he's like a American Korean comedian, and I always see clips sent from reels from my friends. Like I like Bobby Lee, I think he's a funny guy, and the reason I clicked on it was because it was the most random crossover I'd ever seen. It was like Bobby Lee talks to Eric Baroni, the creator of Stardew Valley. And I was like, that seems so... I didn't even know Bobby Lee liked games. I watched this podcast, right? Bobby Lee, I think, might be the biggest Stardew Valley fan in the world. It's like 2 hours of him just explaining Stardew Valley back to Eric Baroni and just completely geeking out and being a huge fan of it.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I'm watching this. Okay. But it's a good podcast. I enjoyed it. The reason I want to talk about this is the current state of fucking video game journalism is insane. Because I watched this podcast and Eric Baroni, in an offhand comment, like, Bobby Lee's like, hey, do you ever think you'll make a Stardew Valley 2? And he's like, yeah, I might make a Stardew Valley 2 at some point. He's like an offhand comment. I got on Reddit, PC Gamer's like,
not a promise.
PC Gamer's like, Stardew Valley 2 confirmed. Stardew Valley 2 is coming out. He's going to be working on Stardew Valley. And I'm just like, for fuck. And I saw that because you see these articles and you see the headlines, right? And you're like, oh, okay.
You don't find the source.
I've seen the source of this, and it was an offhand comment in like a 2-hour-long podcast that was really of no substance to like the greater discussion that was going on. I was just like, I feel like at the moment, when it comes to gaming news, I'm just like, everything is just clickbait, SEO farming, sensational shit. And and there's nothing interesting going on right now for the most part.
AI SEO farming now.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to mention that and the Manba One. But let's talk about what games I've been playing recently. I've been playing the new season of Hearthstone Battlegrounds because, I'm a Hearthstone's Battlegrounds sicko. Tony, I think I'm about to hit 600 hours in just Hearthstone Battlegrounds.
Oh my god.
Because they have statistics just for Hearthstone Battlegrounds. And I wonder what my overall playtime for Hearthstone... Because that's the thing, like, I have my overall playtime for Steam, but it's actually a lot harder to figure out, like, your Blizzard playtime stuff. Like, my WoW and my Warcraft 3 stuff would be insane if I ever had, like, that overall, like, how much of my life I'd played those games.
Yeah, that's a scary thought, isn't it?
But yeah, I'd mention I've been playing this like a sicko. I've mentioned it before. Trinkets is one of my favorite mechanics in Hearthstone Battlegrounds. They've brought it back, and there's brand new trinkets, so it's really fun. I'd recommend checking out the new season. I have rolled credits on Blueprints, and I was talking about this with you beforehand before we started the podcast, and I was going like deep into it. And I was like, we need to just fucking talk about this on the podcast, or like briefly, and then we need to actually record a tangerine list. So I love Blueprints. This is probably my front runner for Game of the Year right now, and I think it is one of those games where I agree with people saying it is one of those games going into it blind is better. I see the comparisons to stuff like the Outer Wilds and stuff like that. I said some people were kind of let down by like the hype of the game and then going into it and then being like, oh, okay, this isn't what I thought it was, and I can understand that. This feels like a game that is not made by committee. This feels like a game that is designed with a vision, and it's going to appeal to very specific people, and I feel like I am one of those very specific people. I think the game is very good overall, but I understand like there are elements to it that like the randomness and stuff that not everyone is going to enjoy. And I also think Blueprints is a game that appears more complicated than it actually is. Like when you actually break it.
Yeah.
I watched a 20-minute speed run of someone beating Blueprints on day one, and that was interesting because there was a lot of stuff where I don't think he really did anything I didn't already fundamentally understand about the game as someone who'd finished the game, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of how I would go about it, sort of thing. Like a lot of the stuff I did was a lot of the way to get to room 46, right? Which is the plot of the game is you're basically drafting a mansion in order to get to a room that doesn't exist on the blueprints, right?
And you need to get 46 to keep the house, otherwise you're
to get the inheritance, right? It's your great uncle, Herbert Sinclair, which I've learned a lot about Herbert Sinclair through Blueprints. There's another thing I love about Blueprints personally is the environmental storytelling. I feel like you can tell a lot about a person outside of meeting them by seeing the the rooms they lived in, by seeing the people they interacted with, how those people treated them, how they treated other people. Like just it's the small human moments that I really love in Blueprints, where I'm reading like someone's will and I'm just seeing like this is how you lived your life and this is your like last testament on the earth, and I respect that sort of thing. Without going into any spoilers for Blueprints, this is a game I would do I give like a sweeping recommend? I don't think I can give a sweeping. It's a really fucking good game, and I love Blueprints, but I understand that it is not a game for everybody, and that's okay because it is a game for me. Is what I feel like. This isn't Chicken Jockey.
I think
this is not the best-selling video game of all time.
I don't know if that's for anyone. To be honest with you, I think that's just a meme.
Right, but it is. Tony, the fucking Minecraft movie's made like $1 billion.
I know.
Like,
yeah, I know. And it's making people, or making Hollywood people talk about, can we make our own
Chicken Jockey moment?
Molyduex. Yeah.
We need the next Barbie.
Can we get people in just to do stupid stuff?
Well, I remember there was that thing where people were going to see like Minions Rise of Gru wearing suits and then posting about it on TikTok. And then there was also, I don't know if you ever heard about this, but like the Eras tour for Taylor Swift, they were showing she showed the tour at a cinema. And the whole thing was people were coming to the cinema to watch that and do like dancing and singing along as like a
see that. I think that makes more sense because that's like designed from the ground up to be like participation and it actually makes sense. It's not just this is the trend, we can make money out of it, like a committee sort of, or like maybe not, it's not really trend setting, but or like trend followers sort of thing. But it's like it just feels cynical the way that people like Hollywood TV talking about it.
I don't know how you feel about Blueprints, but we 100% need to do a tangerine on this, and I don't know if you want to go into spoilers, but there will probably be a spoiler-free version and then a light spoiler version at least.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
100%. I don't think this is a game like I would play, so I think we can go full spoilers.
Okay. But yeah, I've been playing that. I
don't know.
I genuinely good game. And the thing is with this game, it's like £20 on Steam, and it's on Game Pass as well. So like, there's not much to give it a go.
Okay, would you say like if you like deck building and puzzle solving and like solving an environmental story and like going through that, like if you like all of those, like you'll maybe not guaranteed, but like much more likely to like it than if you dislike one of those?
Yeah, but I feel like if you like one of those, you might be won over by the other.
You still might like
I'm not a huge puzzle game guy, and then my friends like, "Why are you always playing puzzle games then?" And then I'm like, but I'm like, I feel like I like playing detective games. Like I like my
it's slightly different
flavor of puzzle game that I like playing. Like I love, like I've been playing Blueprints. I love The Outer Wilds is like a detective game. I love that game.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been playing The Curse of the Golden Idol, which is a great like figure out who the fuck got murdered, what their names were, what happened here sort of thing game.
Okay, so narrow it down. So detective, deck building, environmental storytelling. But I guess that's detective gameplay, right? That comes with the package. So no, I just feel like there are those though that like absolutely hate deck building. They just like do not want to touch anything with deck building.
Yeah. Couldn't.
So I feel like it's not for them.
Couldn't be me.
No, I'm bad at deck building, but I like the idea of deck building.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, do you ever build your own decks in like MTG? Because surely you do a bit of deck building, right?
I do, but I'm not great at it. I think the problem I have is like I get pulled in too many directions, and it's then like I'll be not being focused. It's like and it's then
I just like the reason I have like 600 hours in Hustle Battlegrounds is every single game is different because I'm constantly being pulled in different directions, and I can be like, I never would have thought of putting these minions and strategies and ideas together, but now that I love the direction I'm going. Let me try something new on the fly. I just like that. My brain, I don't know, like I have I like that sort of like cognitive elasticity, I guess, where I can kind of be like trying new ideas on the fly.
Yeah. I think with roguelike deck builders, that's definitely like, not that. It's not. Is that? Would you call Hearthstone backgrounds a rogue? Not really, is it?
It's definitely a deck builder.
How do you describe that?
100%.
Yeah, it's a deck builder,
and it's definitely
deck builder.
It definitely has
runs.
The roguelike elements to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also multiplayer. Competitive roguelike deck builder. Is that an accurate way to describe it? I guess it is.
Well, I think the genre is called Auto Battler, or like Dota Auto Chess, right? Was the big game in the beginning.
Yeah. But I would also call those. Those are deck builders as well, right? Yeah.
Sure.
I've never. The thing I need to play. I had a lot of fun. Slay the Spire, but I've not put many hours into it. Like I think I've only put like maybe not even that. I want to say 15, but probably not even that.
Right.
I've not had that eureka moment with a deck builder where it's like, oh, I can do this and this. I've just gone.
Suddenly,
I've just had I just barely made it. Ooh, can I do something to improve? Like I found the local minimum, not found like a really big minimum. Like we get the eureka.
Yeah,
I can do this crazy.
It's hard for me to say because I can only talk from my experiences and what games I like, sort of thing. But it's hard for me to say like, oh, if you play this game, you will have a moment where you'll be like clicking with it. Maybe it's just not your favorite genre of games, and maybe you should just choose something else. But like for me, it's the almost only kind of strategy adjacent genre that I hate micromanaging and base building and all that stuff. But I love only the strategy of building decks and that sort of stuff. I just really enjoy. I don't know. I've also
So Blueprints is a perfect combination then of adjacent puzzle game and adjacent strategy of that specific type you like into one game.
Yeah. But that
makes sense.
Yeah, it feels like a game that was designed for me in a way that I understand it was not, but it feels that way to me because of all of the elements that I absolutely adore coming together.
Aligns. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing Haste still. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm still enjoying Haste. And it's also more cursed now because not only do I have a Sonic model, they've also added Sonic sounds to the game. We just need rings to replace the sparks. Wait, and then so when you land, it's like
official options.
No, this is like what the game has workshop support. This is all unofficial stuff.
Okay.
I just think it's so hilarious, and I'm just running around going, yes! Like Sonic's just running around.
Yeah.
I've also been playing some games on Discord. I have some footage of Bobble League here. I don't know if I'll ever talk about this in a Tangerine, so if I don't. I almost never play the games on Discord, and I was surprised how much I loved Bobble League. I thought it was like such a really fun little game. It's essentially like, how would you describe this? It's like a simultaneous, like in Civ, where it's turn-based, but you all take your turn at the same time. What would you call
that option? Yeah.
He goes for the kickoff. And he's stopped by the bouncing ball. The bouncing ball tech to go over. Basically, like you can get like a little football pitch that you flick, and then you're all trying to hit the ball, sort of thing. It's basically that.
Yeah.
But there's 4 of you, and if you're playing single player, you control all the characters, or you can get your friends on and they control one character, and you're trying to score goals. And you can set it to like first goal wins, first to 30 goals, or there's a turn timer. But then it gets like really chaotic because there's bumpers on the sides, but also there's power-ups you can get. So you can like activate big bumpers, or you can spawn like a bunch of bricks in the way of somebody, or you could like literally switch the goals for a turn. So if you shoot it into your own goal, it counts as shooting into the enemy's goals. There's tons of like really interesting stuff in this, and it's just a really fun little chaotic party game. And I'm surprised because I feel like most people probably don't even know this game even exists because nobody checks out the games. But it's like, for me, this is like the Discord version of like Rocket League. It's just like the perfect party like little football game that I just a door to play sort of thing.
Party Rocket League. Party League.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fun. Oh, also, I've been enjoying playing Blazing Eights, which is basically it's basically Uno at home, but it's so great because the barrier of entry is so low. Because you just click a button on Discord, no one has to own it, and there's no Uplay. That's the best part of Blazing Eights is there's no fucking Uplay.
Yeah, it's a problem every time. You think it won't be a problem, but it really is every time.
Their servers are always fucked as well on like the fucking Uno servers.
Someone like it was, last time we played Uno, it's like one person couldn't log in, and I was like time before that, I think it was me. I think when I first bought it, I couldn't log in.
I love Uno, but like it's a game you just want to play whenever you want to play it, right? And
getting stuffed by the servers is not great.
I did Switch 2 with the cameras doing the thing where you're playing Mario Kart and you see your friend's face in real time.
Oh
yeah, like, I'm gonna get you. I was like, that's kind of gimmicky and stupid. I don't think I'd like that. But like, when you're playing these games on Discord. And when I'm speaking to my friends on Discord, there's like a little speech bubble that comes up by my character saying I'm talking.
That's pretty cool.
It was actually really funny because I was like role playing my character where I was like, yes. I was like shooting my character into the goal and I was like, I scored, yes. I was like, wait, I missed the ball completely. This game makes me more excited for Rematch to come. I think Rematch is coming out in like a month or something. And I want to play more Rematch, but Tony, we have a month until my Switch 2 arrives, so we'll see how much gaming I'll be doing. I want to get back into playing Street Fighter as well, but we'll see.
Sure, you're gonna run out of games to play on your Switch 2 at some point.
Well, on launch, I'm gonna be. It's coming. It's Mario Kart. I'm gonna play some Switch 1 games I picked up, so I'm gonna play some more Mario Maker on there. The thing is, I'm gonna play the Kirby stuff, but the Kirby stuff, the upgrade with the DLC, doesn't come out till later anyway.
That's a problem. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like on launch, it's gonna be Mario Kart and Switch Welcome Tour, which I might actually buy because I think it's like £5. Because like, what else am I gonna play? And then like Donkey Kong comes out next month, so like July time, and I've got that on pre-order, so I'll be playing the Donkey Kong game when that comes out. But yeah. And then let's go to the not games section. We got TV, Tony. I've watched episode 1 of The Last of Us season 2 because I keep asking my friend because me and my friend watched The Last of Us season 1 together, and I was like, let's watch season 2, and she got super busy from being pregnant, but also she's like, oh, I know what happens there's a moment that happens in season 2 and I don't want to watch it, so I'm kind of been avoiding watching it. And I'm like,
it's the one thing to make sure I know from the second or part 2 of the game.
Well, I also know it as well because I was listening. The actor who plays Ellie was on the Louis Theroux podcast because they're doing a media run at the moment where they're advertising the new season of the
contractually obliged to go into media stuff.
Yeah, but anyway. I was out on my bike because I usually listen to podcasts when I'm out on my bike, and I'm listening to the Louis Theroux podcast, and he's like, "I've just seen The Last of Us, season 2. I've only at the time of recording only seen episode 1, but episode 2 has this happen. Spoiler alert! Massive spoiler immediately." And I'm on my bike, and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake! Louis Theroux just spoiled the fucking Last of Us for me." So yeah, I know what happens in fucking episode 2. But I've been enjoying this show still. I really like season 1. I think it is a shining beacon of what you can do well with a video game adaptation of a TV show adaptation of a video game, I should say. Because like it doesn't is it Neil Druckmann who like made the video game? He like directly works on the TV show as well. I think.
Oh, is that? I don't know anything about that.
But Tony, if I watch more of The Last of Us season 2, I'll give my full take. But it seems fine from the first episode I've seen. And then also, Tony, I've watched. So I like bullshit trash television.
Yep.
I love watching the show The Traitors, which is on in the UK, and that's a show where they get like random people, they put them in a house, and some of them are traitors, and they have to kill people in secret, and they win a bunch of money. I've been watching the US version of The Traitors. I watched season 1. I've watched season 2 now, and I'm halfway through season 3. And
what seasons are there?
3. There's 3 seasons.
Okay, that's too many.
Like season 3 came out like last year, so it's pretty recent sort of thing, I think. But the thing that's interesting about the US one is they don't take random people. They take quote unquote celebrities. They have like, oh yeah, I was on The Real Housewives of Orange County, or like in season 3 they have Zac Efron's brother is one of the people in the show, Dylan Efron. Okay. But he was on like a reality TV show called Down to Earth, where Zac Efron just tries to not be a celebrity and is like, oh, I'm really humble. And I'm like, immediately the concept of this show pisses me off, that Zac Efron would be like, look, I'm just a regular dude doing regular things. Let me make a TV show about it. That rubs me the wrong way immediately. But
yeah. That's like an image thing.
I kind of love the wildness of the show, where you've got like people from like Big Brother and like game show challenges like Survivor interacting with like people from RuPaul's Drag Race and like The Real Housewives, and it's just, this is like trash television peak right here. You just got crazy personalities. God bless Kate, by the way, who is a recurring character on The Traitors, and she is like, she might be one of the worst faithfuls I've ever seen on this show, in terms of she's actively trying to sabotage the mission because she does not want to be there. And like, she's like literally throwing money away, and she's like, I don't give a fuck. And she somehow just doesn't get voted out. And I'm just like, this is peak trash television, The Traitors US. It is so great to just put on and just watch as like a background thing when you're talking to your friends.
It's a pile of trash, you could say.
Yes, this is prime trash.
A high tower.
I haven't been watching any more horror. Still going to watch the Evil Dead TV show, but my friend has been on holiday to the UK because he is Swedish, so... He had the authentic London experience as well. He went to a pub in London, and they found some needles in the bathroom, and some crazy shit went down. And
so his brother was asked, like, can we go to a pub as if it's like a rare thing? It's like, yeah, we still do pubs in the UK. It's not like this stereotype that we don't actually have it. Like, no,
it's interesting.
Like, I can guarantee there's a pub everywhere.
It's interesting to see like what people from other countries are like. This is the quintessential British thing you have.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were talking about we went to like this tea shop in London, and my sister's girlfriend was saying like, oh, you have to try this tea. It's like it's the quintessential tea experience. I'm like, I've been to Sweden and I've tried what Swedish people think tea is, and that is not tea. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but it's all like herbal shit and like.
Yeah.
Like in the UK, you drink like Yorkshire tea, or you drink not tea. Like that is how it goes,
There are other tea. Yorkshire tea is like, I think even
PG Tips gets drunken a lot, and I think begrudgingly stuff like Diplomat gets drank a lot in like when nobody wants to pay for the tea, they're like, I'll just pick up. Diplomat is like the Aldi brand of tea. So it's just like the cheapest tea you can get like possible.
My family like Red Label, like
Red Label is like the discount brand as well.
It's discount brand, but it's more flowery than York. Like, I'm a Yorkshire, like I really like Yorkshire tea, but I'm actually partial. Like, I quite like PG Tips as well, but Yorkshire tea is better. Like, that's my opinion. But I really do not like Red Label at all. Like, I don't like that flowery. Like, it seems. It's not anywhere close to like a herbal tea. Like, to me, in my mind, it's like, oh, it's slightly too far away.
Teas I drink regularly. Tea. I drink Yorkshire tea every day, and my decaf tea of choice is Earl Grey. I drink an Earl Grey usually once in the evening.
Interesting.
I do like.
My mind is like where tea originated from. like in like China and like Taiwan sort of thing. It's like they have very different teas over there.
It's almost like a nostalgic taste. Like I was drinking a lemon shandy yesterday, and I was like, I haven't drinking a shandy in like 10 years. But it was such like a nostalgic thing for me to taste, because I was like, if you don't know, shandy is basically like beer and lemonade with like basically no alcohol in it. So like I had it as like a teenage. It's like less than 0.5% alcohol, so it's like basically water at that point, right?
Sure.
No, like legally, like I think. Yeah,
legally you can give it, but my question is, why put it in there in the first place if it's just water?
Because you want to mix the flavor of beer and lemonade, because it does taste like beer, like a weakened version of beer. And as a kid, I was like, I was drinking this because I was like, I'm thirsty, it's cold, I want lemonade, but we have shandy, so I drank it. I was like, I don't know if I like this beer taste. And as an adult drinking shandy, I'm like, this is delicious and refreshing. I love the bitter taste of like lemon and beer. Like I've come to appreciate beer more now as an adult.
Sour and bitter.
And I love shandy. Shandy's great. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bitter hater, so
Tony,
one of the reasons I don't like.
Funnily enough, I have been watching more spring season anime. I'm continuing to watch the shows that I've currently stated so far. Like I said like last week, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep watching a ninja and an assassin under one roof, and like episode 5 of that show came out, and I was like, this is one of the best episodes of anime I've seen in a long time. It was really good. I was almost dropping that show, and then an episode came out, and I was like, this is a fucking hilarious plot, and it's got like great animation, and I really love this episode, so I'm glad I stuck with that one. And then there's other shows where I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching this. Which one I'll talk about later. But and I was talking about Lazarus last week, because I finally watched the new Watanabe show, and I was like, episode 4 was so promising. And I haven't watched episode 6 yet, but I just watched episode 5 like last week, and episode 5 of Lazarus might be one of the cringiest animes like episodes I've seen in a long time. Right. There's the entire episode is about hacking, and there's this hacking character, and they are so fucking annoying. It's unreal. Like, they're like, I'm a hacker, bro. And I shit you not, they say the word hardcore several times in the episode, and it is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, I'm so fucking torn on Lazarus, and I have no idea. Lazarus can end up in a good spot, but it's like, we'll have to wait and see. Like, that's the thing with this spring season of anime. There is so many like unknown things. There's so many like new shows that are promising, and there's a new Watanabe show. Is it going to be the next Cowboy Bebop? Is it going to be the next Carol and Tuesday? You just have to wait and see. You know?
That's quite the swing.
Yeah, because I'm still like, for the ongoing stuff, like I'm still loving the Apothecary Diaries, which is coming out weekly. I'm still loving like a Haran-san is great as well. I think like Witch Watch is still great as well. Kowloon Generic Romance, Tony. I'm telling you now, do not be fooled by the title of Kowloon Generic Romance. This show...
It's not a generic romance.
No. This show is one of the most interesting sci-fi mystery shows I have seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It is really good.
Is it still continuing to like be interesting?
Yeah, it's really like
okay.
They're doing like sci-fi stuff where they're like, I can't get into it without talking about like what's happening in the show, but like they're asking like interesting sci-fi questions, and I'm like happy to see where this is going. Like, I'm enjoying it. But anyway,
it kind of sounds like 10 years ago, like what we like saw sci-fi shows we used to get, like maybe like slightly under, but like this is live action. Obviously, I'm comparing anime to live action here, but in terms of story, it's like they have like slightly under budget, but they have like this like overarching like weird premise that they would want to like have for one series, maybe two. Like, kind of reminds me of that sort of a show.
So first up, I'm going to talk about Apocalypse Hotel, which is one I went over and saw. it's about a hotel, the apocalypse. Maybe I'll watch it. And then I kind of went over it again, and I saw a lot of people talking about it very positively, and I thought maybe I'll give it a go. So this is actually made by a studio called Cygame Pictures, and I'd never seen anything that they do before, but like the way Cygame Pictures works is they're actually primarily a gacha game company. So they're like their primary business model is they make like gacha like mobile games that are like trying to get you to spend money on like, you know, microtransaction stuff, but they take a lot of that money and they fund like really interesting anime with it. Like they make like Apocalypse Hotel is like really good. It's really interesting, and because they also did another show this season where I was like, I will watch and defend, you know, watching. Please put them on Takamine-san, because I'm like, that's just perverts. Everyone gets that, right? But they also have another anime that is apparently very good, which is about anime girl horse racing. The horses are anime girls, and it's a sports anime, and apparently it's very good. But I don't know how to explain that to anyone. Like I'm like, I feel like if I watch this show, how do I ever explain that to somebody? Like,
I don't know.
But apparently it's legit like a super good sports anime, and it's made by this like mobile gacha company. So Apocalypse Hotel is about it starts with like there's this virus that has basically wiped out most of humanity, and most of humanity has gone to rocket ships and completely evacuated Earth. And it's about but it goes over like the Gingaru Hotel, and the Gingaru Hotel has become entirely run by androids and robots. And it's about this hotel that keeps running and keeps like making the beds every single day. Every day they wake up and they make sure the windows are clean. They're still digging a spa because they were like, we can expand the business if the spa comes. And it's about like these robots that exist and keep this hotel open despite the fact nobody's there. And I was like, okay, the show's going to be really depressing, but it's actually really positive, but it has still, like, I can't describe the vibe of the show. It's really, like, positive. The humans are coming back. We're going to keep the hotel going, keep your spirits up, but it's also, like, there's that hint of nobody's there sort of thing, and it's this weird, like, vibe, but I fucking love Apocalypse Hotel. This show is great. But I'll tell you like what happens in episode 1, because I was like, okay, it's gonna be like in episode 1, like one of the first episodes is just about the robot, and his whole job is to open the doors to the hotel, and he's been doing it for like the past like 50 years. So every time he opens the doors, he completely overheats and like completely shuts down, and like our manager woman Yachimayo has to come and like chuck water on him to cool him down every single time. And she's like, why do you keep opening the doors every day? Like, you only need to open the doors when there's a customer coming. And he's like, if I stop opening the doors every day, I'll become rusty and I won't be able to do it. If I stop opening the doors, I'll run out of progress. And we're all waiting for the day the humans come. And if I can't open the doors when we have a customer, then it's all for nothing. And it's like, these robots have more characters. They have more like human characteristics, and they're like more interesting than any character in Solo Leveling. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, it's really fucking good. And like the first, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be about like this depressing hotel where nothing happens, right? Because the humans never come back. The end of episode 1, Tony, a fucking alien shows up to the hotel, and it's not like, oh, it's an alien that is a human with pink skin. It's like, it reminds me of the aliens in Space Dandy, one of my favorite shows of all time, where he has no concept of how anything works, and he's like this amoeboid blob who's just like pouring like gel into a pool and just seeing what's going on, and like they're just trying to be like, welcome to our hotel, how can we help you? And they can't converse with each other because they have no concept of a shared language between each other. And it's so interesting. And like every episode after that, there's like more interesting stuff that happens. They're like, oh shit, we've run out of food, how are we gonna like keep making food for guests. The humans are definitely coming back. And there's this point where like it turns into like they're fighting like a dune sandworm with like a chainsaw, and it's like a battle shonen for an episode. Like this show is so interesting. I love Apocalypse Hotel. Like I'd highly recommend this show. Like it is really, really cool. But yeah, this is a really surprising one. Like it's got really great characters, really great ideas, like and I love the show. I think it's great.
It's not like a sci-fi premise of like people left behind and how they cope with it, sort of like as like an underlying. I say underlying on the sleeve, sort of showing. I just feel like what has a really sad ending though. Like what the optimism is.
It'll break my. Well, they've been they've been hinting stuff about like. Well, the thing is like, because Yaochio, she's like our main character. She's the most like human robot. She's like an android sort of thing, and she's like, she's waiting for the day the manager comes back, and we know.
Oh, okay.
Based on the amount of time that's like, there's at least like 50, 60 years that's passed since like the manager left, and I'm like, you have an idea that the manager must be like dead by now, right?
Yeah.
Based on human lifespans, but she's so like set on this. She's so set on this idea that the manager will be back, and it like and it completely drives her to keep going. And like, there's so many like happy like moments. Like, yeah, we did it. We got a guest. We're talking to this alien, and it's like, oh. We're building this spa to expand the hotel, and the driller robot is being decommissioned. And it's like, there's just like this quiet moment where they're just taking the driller robot and they're just throwing it in this pile. And there's like 500 robots that have all been decommissioned because nobody's there to repair and maintain them. But they're still like, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep this hotel running. We're going to make a bed every single day just for 50 fucking years in case somebody shows up, because we are so they can't do anything else. That's what they're designed to do.
Disappear.
Yeah, so I think, because I was thinking about this, but I think they show solar panels on the hotel. Like that's a point they make. Sort of thing. And they go into stuff like
they clean them, I suppose.
I think they have like a garden on the roof, and there is animals still on Earth in this show as well. So they do go into like the world building sort of stuff.
So I guess it's more like sentient primates can't exist on the planet, not there's no life.
But yeah, it's like I can't think of a show that is like this show. It's really interesting.
No, I can't think of anything like that. Well, like the closest is kind of like, it's not really a show, but like Wall-E is like the closest, and even then it's like that's nothing like what you were describing.
But yeah, I highly recommend Apocalypse Hotel. I think this is one like I've watched 5 episodes, and I've watched 5 episodes of a bunch of other shit. This is one of my favorite animes of the season so far. Like if I was making if I go to like my anime list and I just quickly make a list of stuff I think based on like my initial we're almost about halfway through a lot of this stuff, and I'd say like stuff I think most people should watch is Apocalypse Hotel, Kowloon Generic Romance, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I think you could even watch this show without ever watching My Hero Academia, and Witch Watch. Those would be the 4 that I'd be like, check these shows out. There's some others that I love, but I know other people aren't going to love, and some others I'm just like waiting to see where they go.
Okay.
But like out of the stuff that's not returning, like Apothecary Dies, for example, or Solo Leveling if you're into trash.
You don't recommend Solo Leveling?
I might be too hard on Solo Leveling because you watch a show like Apocalypse Hotel and you're just like, it's interesting. You watch Solo Leveling and it's just carried by like people standing around in rooms farming aura. I saw somebody doing a review of like Solo Leveling. Yeah, that's what the kids would say.
Okay.
Like in a video game, you'll have like I'm trying to think of a video game that you've played where in Sekiro, you haven't played Sekiro, but in Sekiro, like you know when like the fight or just like the final boss of a game is stood in a room and you just slowly walk in and you just like the fucking Dark Souls music starts playing and you're just like, oh, the health bar comes and you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down. That's aura. When somebody's just there,
right.
That's the concept of aura. But like Solo Leveling has no characters and is absolutely carried by hype, well animated battle scenes, and the fact that people are like, this is interesting because it's Korean. Like I feel like, but like for somebody who watches anime as an adult and is there for interesting shows and shows with good characters and writing, this is not what Solo Leveling is.
Yeah, I've been like, the problem I have is like, I remember as a kid being like, oh, like this is like such an interesting idea and nothing happens.
One of my favorite animes of all time
I have that in my head.
Naruto, because I watched that when I was a kid, and seeing like fucking Rock Lee go into Drunken Fist fifth life gate was one of the coolest fucking things in the world to me. Like I understand if I was a teenager and I watched Solo Leveling and I was like, oh, Jinwoo, he just cast a rise on the fucking Shadow Knight, and I was like, that's the coolest battle thing I've ever seen. Sure. I might be like, man, this is so cool, and I might be nostalgic for it later. But for me now, as a 30-year-old adult, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know. But anyway, I want to talk about another anime I've been watching called Catch Me at the Ballpark, which is basically like a comedy. It's got some elements of. I wouldn't say it's not a rom-com, but it has some elements of rom-com. It has some elements of sport because it's set at a ballpark, but I went into this with like low expectations that it might just be trash that I like, but I actually really like Catch Me at the Ballpark, and I've learned a lot about not just baseball, but Japanese baseball is actually really interesting. Did you know that like more? I'll get into this in a bit, but you know, like more people watch like the high school like Japanese baseball games than watch like the MLB in America, like in Japan. Like baseball is so crazy. Fucking popular in Japan right now. It is crazy. But it's a comedy focused around the beer girls at the baseball park. And if you don't know this, because I was learning about this, they're called Iriko beer girls, and they're not just like in this anime. They're a real thing. Like I'll show you this video.
Oh, okay.
There's like an idol culture in Japan for the women who sell beer at the ball games. Like they have fans and they have regulars who are like, I am buying beer from this girl to support her, sort of thing. Which I was like, that is so interesting to me as somebody who has never seen anything like this.
Beer.
Yeah, like actually, I've heard like some girls will go into becoming a Iriko beer girl at an ML, like at like a baseball game in Japan, just as like a pathway to becoming an idol sort of thing, which I'm like, that is so interesting. And they carry around like these giant like 20-kilogram beer kegs on their back. And one of the shots in the show is they have it set up like a pit stop, right? Where these girls come in, they like take the keg out, they put a new keg in, they like give them cold glasses, and they're like, go, go, go. And that's like one of the shots.
Pit stop changeover.
That's one of the shots in the anime. And I was like, they don't actually do this, do they? And somebody was posting on the baseball Reddit, like they showed a scene of this. This actually happens. Like they actually pit stop these like fucking Iriko beer girls to be like, quickly, we need to get another keg, we need to get back out there, we need to get more beers out there. Like people take this shit so seriously, which I find so interesting as an outsider.
It does look wild.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel really charmed by the show. I think it is like we follow like a Gyaru girl, Ruriko, who is she's sort of our main character, and she is a beer girl there, and it basically goes into her like relationship she forms with Murata, who is basically like he's like a 30-year-old like Japanese salaryman, and he's basically overworked, and the only like solace he can get in life is by going to the baseball game, which he loves, which he goes to as much as he possibly can, and he forms this relationship with Ruriko. But it's about everyone at the ballpark. It's like it's about Sunshiro, who is the mascot of the ballpark, and it's about what he does in his day. And it goes into like the security guard who's been working there for like the past like 60 years and how he knows everyone's name and how he goes into it. And there's a character called, I want to call him John Baseball, but he's called like
John Baseball.
What is he called? He's called like something Young, and it's so funny to me. He's the American player who's been imported to the Japanese league, because like usually when you have like a not so great stint in like the MLB, you'll like the Japanese league is seen as a lesser scene, like in terms of like the overall stuff, like in terms of pay especially.
Oh yeah, sure.
But like the Japanese people are like crazy. I don't know if you know this, but like there is like a sort of a world championship for baseball, and Japan has been winning it like consistently. Like they are absolute like. I was watching a video about like in the MLB, like pitchers usually pitch like 200 balls over like the course of like a season, maybe. Or so. I'm probably getting all these numbers wrong, so don't quote me on this. But like there was Japanese like high school players who were doing this like a day as training. Like they have insane work regimens where they're like basically doing like career level injuries just to win like a high school level baseball game. And it's just like crazy, like worth ethic differences over there. But yeah, just learning about this stuff. Like the show. I was talking about Dennis Young. Dennis Young is an American player, and it's so fucking funny to me where they're like these Japanese players are all like, we have to be like team spirit and stick together and work really hard. And Dennis Young is just like, I just want to be scouted by the MLB people so I can get back into Major League Baseball. And he's looking at his phone. He's like, why are the pizzas so small over here? I can't believe it. Because he's speaking in English while they're all speaking in Japanese, and he has like a translator. And he's like, Mama, Papa, I miss you. I want to come back to America. And he basically is like, he's trying to get out of the Japanese league, and he's trying to get out. Like some of the small details about the show is like they're called like the Motor Suns, but like every single team and stadium is like modeled on a real Japanese team and stadium. Like it's all like authentic to like a T, and I'm like that is so interesting. But like he's one of my favorite characters because it's like an American in a Japanese league, and he's like, wow, the pizza's so small. But basically he sees Ruriko, our beer girl, and he's like, and he calls her the goddess of baseball, and he basically wants to stay in Japan because he wants to keep seeing her. But there's so many great sites. There's a woman who works at like the snack shop, and she wants to be a beer girl because she wants to show off her legs, but she's forced to work at the chicken shop, the snack shop, where she has to wear trousers, and she wants to leave, but she's like, I could stay a little bit longer. But then her awful boss keeps giving her raises and promoting her. She's like, no, I will never be able to go out there and become a beer girl and show off my legs. Like this show is just full of great side characters and side stories that it just makes it such an enjoyable experience overall. I'm really enjoying Catch Me at the Ballpark. I think this is a great show, but I also understand like it's not like a Kowloon generic romance or like a fucking Apocalypse Hotel or like a, you know, it's kind of like a stupid show, right? It is a comedy, right? It's listed as a comedy, but like,
yeah, I guess like as most comedies, there's not like an overarching plot. It's just lots of side character stuff happening.
I'm really enjoying my time with Catch Me at the Ball. I thought Can a boy-girl relationship last was going to be my Joe anime of the season, but I think Catch Me at the Ballpark is starting to become my Joe anime of the season. I'm just like, I fucking love this show. I don't think it's bad either. I don't think it's a bad show. Maybe I shouldn't say it's a bullshit that I love show. I think it's just it just wins you over with how charming it is. I don't know. But yeah, this is one that I went back and was like, initially was like, I don't really care about baseball, but then now I'm like, oh, baseball in Japan is kind of interesting. So yeah. And you know what, Tony? They show like no baseball in this show. It's all about like the world around baseball. There's not like an episode where it's like, the entire episode is like, we have to hit a home run or we're going to be out of the league. And it's like high stakes, like baseball shit. And I'm just like, if that was in it, I'd be like, I don't care about sports anime. I'm out. But it's just about like, there is like sprinkles of that. And it's just like the world around the baseball stadium.
I could see like a high stakes episode where it's like they need to like win this match, but then you don't ever see the match, just like how people are reacting to it.
Well, there is a match where they like where they do like a show match against one of their like rival teams, and they're like, "No, we're losing. We've got to win this." And like, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to talk more about base. Do you know the sort of like insane level entrances they have at like Japanese baseball games? You know, like in America, you'd get somebody to walk out onto the pitch, they'd sing the Pledge of Allegiance, like, and then they'd leave, right? And they'd like, okay, let's throw a ball and hit it.
Well, I don't know anything about baseball, but yeah, I could see that.
Neither did I until like a couple of weeks ago, and now I know weird amounts of information about it. They hire these, they regularly hire these guys who come onto the pitch, get into a fight with, like, throw a ball, someone hits it, you're not supposed to hit it, it's a comedy thing, you're supposed to like miss it on purpose. They then get into a fight scrap, which ends with two men kissing each other, and that's the big like gag between like that. There's like, they have these like baseball players are really like big over there. They're like the managers of the teams are like these big like otherworldly characters. Like, I shit you not, there's like this manager of one of the baseball teams that's called Big Boss, and he came out on like a hovercraft one time into a baseball game. It's like, this is my, like, they have like WWE entrances to fucking baseball games in Japan. It's wild. But yeah,
it's a completely different experience.
I got to add it to my bucket list now. I want to go and see a fucking baseball game. I don't give a shit about baseball, but you know, I'm going to be ordering beer and I'm going to be seeing what the fuck is going on in that pitch. You know, you know, I'm there to support the idols. That's why I'm there. But yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
really like Catch Me in the Ballpark. And then I've also been watching Once Upon a Witch's Death, which is a show about an apprentice witch who on her 17th birthday learns that she only has 1 year left to live because she has a curse on her for some reason, which she can only curse by creating a seed of life. And the only way to create a seed of life is by harvesting tears of joy from people. So they sort of set it up as like this show where she's going to like use magic to like improve people's lives. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get on board with that, like heartwarming, like magic shit. But like, I don't know. I kind of don't like this show so far. I've watched like 3 episodes, and she needs to like average. She needs to get like 1,000 tears by the end of the year, and she needs to average like 3 tears a day. And she's been spending like a month doing nothing. And I'm like, You're not going to make the seed of life. You're just pissing about. Like, you're going to fucking die, bitch. But yeah, I started watching like the first 2 episodes subbed because I think there's like 5 episodes of this out. And by the 3rd episode, I was like, I'm just going to watch the dub of this because the dub is like 2 weeks behind. And I'm like, maybe I can get through it if I just watch the dubbed version. But I might drop it. I might give it a couple more episodes, but I'm not really enjoying Once Upon a Witch's Death. I'm thinking about dropping this. There's a better witch show. Just watch Witch Watch. Which watch shall we watch? It's Witch Watch.
Just Witch Watch. Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, Tony, that's the spring season anime. I don't think there will be any more spring anime stuff that I've, caught up and watched now. I think that because I think I'm currently watching like 13 or 14 shows or something like that. But I do have a show in reserve that is potentially the Bullshit Joe show if I need to pull that out of the bag.
Okay.
What is it called? It's called like the Shuninji Children or something. I'll briefly explain the plot to you, and you will immediately understand why this is a show that I'm not watching, but it could be like a bullshit. It's called the Shinanuji Family Children. It's about a group of children with a man who has a bunch of sisters who are his sisters, and then one day they learn that they're all adopted and they're not actually related, and it's a fucking harem thing, and I'm just like, that sounds fucking wild and sounds like absolute trash. I don't know if I want to watch that, but it could also be trash that I enjoy, so maybe I will watch this. So I have the emergency trash ready to go, Tony, if we need to pick up this season.
Okay, well, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It's the not incest harem show of the season. But yeah. Let's talk about trailers. We have a new trailer for a new Turnip Boy game, which I'm very excited for. It seems like they're going the Image Form Games route, where they're just like, fuck it, every game's a different genre of games approach, which I'm there for. Like, I absolutely loved Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion and Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. Turnip Boy Robs the Bank, I think, was like one of the most underappreciated games of last year. It was a stacked year for games last year. But yeah, I think it seems like they're going for a platformer auto-running game sort of thing. I'm not really sure where they're going with this, but I'm definitely going to give it a go and try it out. I think I'm liking what they're putting down on this one. And then also on trailers we have Desktop Survivors 98. Do you remember that game I played? What was it even called? Where you basically were like a little ball and you shot like it basically like Vampire Survivors, right? But on your desktop sort of thing. This seems to be yeah. This seems to be expanding on that concept, but like stylizing it, but also like adding way more mechanics to it. I didn't. Are you watching the trailer? I'd recommend watching the fucking trailer for this because.
Yeah.
With the Window Kill was the name of the game. I just remembered it. Window Kill was interesting because it was like, oh, you can play like a Vampire Survivors like on your desktop, but it's very much just static enemies. You get upgrades. That's it. That's all there is kind of to the game. This looks more like Vampire Survivors, where it's like you can go to like a gambling mini game. There's like a digging, like this seems like there's a lot more to the game, which is what made like Vampire Survivors great. So I'm actually very excited for this one. So I think I'm going to check that one out when it comes out. That one looks really cool. Let's go to announcements. Gears of War is getting a brand new remaster of Gears of War 1. There was already a remaster of Gears of War 1 called the Windows 10 edition, which I have played.
That's what it's called?
Gears of War Windows... I can't remember. Ultimate Edition for Windows 10.
Okay, that was like a couple of years ago, right? That came out?
No. A lot longer than that. No, a lot longer than that.
Yeah, longer than I think. When did it come out with it?
When Windows 10 was out, Tony.
Well, pre-Windows 11 came out,
Think when Windows 10 was a thing. It came out in 2015.
I don't actually remember when Windows
10 years ago.
2015. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, so I played that and it was okay, but it was definitely a flawed version of Gears of like there was definitely I think I talked about this in my Tangerine of the game where I was saying like when you went above like a certain FPS, there was weird like physics stuff that would happen, and there was definitely some bugs to the game. It was weird because it was never available on Steam. You had to like specifically buy it as a Games for Windows Live thing, or it was on Game Pass. That was like the only way to play it. So I'm glad that they're actually like releasing this on Steam. So this is going to be $40. And it's also, by the way, Tony, it's coming to PlayStation as well. I should put that out. So the first Gears of War, Gears of War's never been on PS5, right? So it's the first Gears of War game on PS5, I think.
I don't think it's ever been on a PlayStation console. I think it's only like I swear like, it's only been on Xbox consoles, like, as a console exclusive sort of thing.
But yeah,
unless 4 was different. I don't know.
It's going to be 4K 120 FPS, which is nice to see. Because the 120 mode on the original version was really glitchy. My take on Gears of War is from going back and playing the Ultimate Edition, I was like, it was fun, but like going through and playing it co-op with a friend. But I'm like, it's definitely a game of its time. Like the constant crouching onto the floor to run from cover to cover, and it almost made me feel like sick. I'm like, this is definitely a game from the Xbox 360 era, the brown cover shooters.
If you want to chainsaw enemies, why play Space Marine 2?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's my feel.
Adding a new lick of paint, putting it on Steam, and adding it to PlayStation, and I think it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. 100%.
Let's talk about cancellation. Electronic Arts is laying off hundreds of people. I think it's about 300 to 400 people. But I wanted to talk about the fact that apparently they were making a Titanfall game again, and they've cancelled it again.
Why? It's just cursed. EA is cursed. I don't want to say time, but that's unfair.
Tony, EA apparently, at this point, I think it had become a live service extraction shooter. So it's probably it would be like a marathon where it's like it's from the game we would want, but not the game we would want from it, sort of thing.
Can we reuse the assets for a single player with a?
No, because I will paraphrase EA here. They have said directly, single player games. Nobody wants single player games.
What?
They've gone on record and said that before.
It's the same people that we don't want horror games, and then people made lots of horror games after the Dead Space stuff, and people like horror games. Who would have thought?
EA executives have clearly publicly expressed their beliefs that single-player games with a clear beginning, middle, and end are less relevant than live service games that offer continuous content updates and engagement.
I think I'm. This is my interpretation of Stephanie Sterling's interpretation of what's happening. But it's I feel like I agree with them, where it's just they're just saying what they want for the future and trying to gaslight you to this is you don't really want this thing.
Right.
And it's you don't really want a single player. You want live services because we make lots of them. I mean, because you like it. Kind of what it feels like to me.
Yeah. Let's talk about delays, Tony, because I think quite possibly the biggest game of the next 15 years has been delayed. And I don't say that lightly because I have numbers to back this up.
You're right.
I don't know if you know this, but GTA 5 came out 13 years ago. And now that GTA 6 has been delayed, it'll be coming out 14 years from GTA 5's initial. I don't know if you remember this, but GTA 5 came out on the 360 and the PS3. It was a long ass fucking time ago. And also, the way GTA 5 is literally the second biggest video game of all time. I think it's just in terms of units sold, it's just behind Minecraft by 100k units, sort of thing.
Minecraft have a completely different strategy. This is just a normal game sort of thing. So it's absolutely insane.
But yeah, so it was coming out, I think, autumn time, fall if you're American, 2025, and they've now moved it to exactly a year from now, or almost exactly a year from now. It's now May 2026, so it's a year from now, basically.
It's 9 months later, please.
Yeah. Basically, from what I've heard, according to, I think it was Jason Schreier from Inside Sources. They're basically doing this to avoid crunch.
I remember that. Yeah, that is true. That's actually good, but we'll have to get later reports to see if that did actually happen. I feel like do need to be held accountable. So.
We did
that is true. That's good.
I think all games releasing in 2025 just side and release that they don't have to accidentally release next to GTA fucking 6 because this is going to be the biggest game of all time. Well, it's going to be one of the biggest games of all time in my opinion.
I think it might be, maybe not immediately.
And I'm gonna tell you now, Tony. I don't want this to happen. But if Rockstar says you need to pay £100 for this to play GTA 6 on day one, I think I would probably pay it. And I'm not even joking. Okay. Tony, I have hundreds of hours on GTA 5, and it's legit it is earned. It's earned every penny I've spent on it, basically.
Yeah.
And I feel like a game like GTA 6 could potentially Like, people are worried about what price GTA 6 is going to come out at because it's going to change the video game industry. It's huge.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that, but I just feel like the publishers like misunderstand like this game is going to be much bigger than like any other. Like this, maybe I don't want to set this as a standard as like the naming scheme, but you could call it a quadruple A game, maybe even GTA 5.
That's what I was legit thinking. Ubisoft was like, we're making quadruple A games. GTA 6 is going to be a quadruple A game.
Yeah, if you make a giant single player
we need
with
to
other services around it, fine, you can charge 100. But
we have to point out in the new trailer, we saw the new jiggle physics. That I think that's the most important thing from the trailer. We have Latina protagonist in the GTA 6, so of course we've got brand new jiggle physics have been added to GTA. You love to see it.
Yeah, that's huge.
Did you know that apparently Devolver Digital's next game, they were trying to like purposely release it on the same day as GTA. They were like, everyone's avoiding releasing on the same day as GTA 6. We're purposely trying to release it on the same day. We're not scared.
No, I did not know that.
That was their hilarious marketing strategy. But I think that...
Are they still releasing it on the original date?
I don't even know what game... Devolver releases so many games, I don't even know half the game Devolver are working on right now. I'm not sure. I heard about this on a podcast, so I don't have a source on this. But yeah, that does sound very much like Devolver.
No source.
Source? I made it the fuck up. Right.
yeah. Classic Metal Gear Revengeance quote.
Source, Bobby Lee's podcast.
Yep.
Let's talk about releases quickly. Anything you want to say about GTA 6 before we go off this? I mean,
no, I've never played GTA games. So
you've never played a GTA game?
No.
My question is: GTA 6 the game that's going to get you to play one?
We'll see.
Because I know you're a fan of like Saints Row and Sleeping Dogs, and these are games that I would say are massively inspired by GTA. So
100%. But there's something I don't know. I need to put my thoughts together to say what makes me not want to. But I own GTA 5, right? Like I am interested. Like even like from when it came out, like I was interested in the story side of it. Yeah. There's like some of like the I don't know what it is. Like maybe like the open worldness that I didn't really care for. At least the idea of, because again I haven't played it. But maybe I need to play it and
for me, GTA. I think GTA 5 might be the only GTA game I've ever completed, and that was like a couple of years ago. I have played every GTA game, but what I would do was I would go on my PlayStation 2. I would load up Vice City and I would just drive around and steal a car and just drive around and shoot people.
It's like
that's what I did in GTA.
It's like in theory, it's like so you look at me and like what games I like and you're like so you must like prototype games. Like I like the theme of prototype. I think the open worldness prototype is actually really weak.
Right. See,
I'm
to
not
me,
actually a massive fan of Prototype, but a lot of people really like Prototype.
I love Prototype, and that's because it allowed me to play like I was playing a GTA. Like one of my favorite things about Prototype is that I could morph into like an old woman, walk up to like a military dude, punch the shit out of him, and then like sprint up the side of a building and just like fly away. That like sandbox stuff to me was so fun. I think GTA 6 is just like the ultimate.
But what you just described,
sandbox game.
My problem with Prototype is what you just described is the entire sandbox. That's it.
Right.
There's nothing else. That's the entire. Like it's fun for a couple of hours, and then you critical path the story. That's my Prototype experience.
I don't know. I
don't know. I don't know if GTA is like that, but like, I think the story is a lot more interesting than Prototype. But
I mean, for me, I spend hundreds of hours playing. I love GTA Online, so I'm excited for not only the single player, not only the aspect of just like to this day, I still go and I load up GTA and I just drive cars around because I love the world, the atmosphere, and the handling where I can just go onto the radio, put a song on, and I'll just drive a car around. Like, I love that shit.
Immersive open world, 100%. Like, that is like Rockstar's thing, is like immersive world.
It's their bread and butter.
Yeah. Like, I appreciate that, but I don't think the interaction is necessary for me. But I've not actually experienced it. I've not actually tried it. So.
My only worry about this game is they still haven't said I think they said this was filmed on a PS5. We don't know if it was a base PS5 or PS5 Pro. They still haven't confirmed a PC port. So I think they're going to launch in 2026, and then a year or so later they'll do a PC port. Which
you'd hope. It might be like 3 years though.
I'm not buying a PS5. Like, I didn't buy a PS5 to play Astrobot. I'm not buying a PS5 to play GT. It's the one game that could potentially get me, but I'm not buying a PlayStation to play this game. I will wait for the PC port, but damn, if it's a hard pill to swallow that I'm not going to be able to play this on release, because I love GTA.
Yeah. It seems kind of wild since like there's a lot more PC users now than there ever has been.
I'll just get the Switch 2, but is it coming? I don't think they've confirmed the Switch 2 version, you know. So
is it just Xbox and PS5?
Boom. Actually, let's have a look.
I don't actually remember. Like, I didn't really like fully watch the trailer per se, because I'm not. I suppose never played a GTA game. I wasn't that invested.
I basically just saw that it wasn't coming to PC, and I said, okay.
Yeah. But again, I assume a similar strategy to 5.
I think it's only confirmed for next gen consoles. So the PS5, the Xbox X and S is the only ones it's confirmed for.
Well, Red Dead 2 didn't come out on PC immediately either. Like, how long did it take for that to come to PC?
I think it took like a year. It took like 15, 20 years for them to port the original Red Dead to PC.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was GTA 5 was console exclusive for a couple of years, and they released on PC.
Yeah.
And then after that point, they did Red Dead 2. It was a PlayStation exclusive for a year or so, and then
I can't remember who it was, but I was watching someone I used to watch on YouTube, and it's like they built a PC or like custom ordered a PC. It's like, oh, GTA 5 is coming soon. I'm ready. And it's like a year passed. It kept released on the next consoles, like the PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah.
Whatever the Xbox was at the time, they've got a terrible naming scheme.
It was the Xbox One.
The one, sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, fine. And they then came and just bought it then, and then bought it again when the PC finally came out, like 2 years after that point.
The one after that was the Xbox One X, which was like the pro version of the Xbox One.
Okay.
I also agree that Microsoft has fucking dog shit naming conventions.
There's no point in me remembering. Like, I don't care.
Do you know why Microsoft has dog shit naming conventions?
So you accidentally buy the wrong one?
No, it's because when the PS3 came out, they didn't want to make it the Xbox 2, because then they would be like, oh, they're a version behind. So they were like, no, we're going to call it the Xbox 360. So it's the same parity.
Sure.
So that is because they didn't want to call it the Xbox 2, because there was the PS3. We now have awful products that I can never remember the name of.
I don't know if people care about that. They'll just go, what's the current one?
That was really important to them at the time, and that has just become their design ethos now.
But I don't think that's how people think.
That's not how me and you think, but when Timmy's mum goes to game and is like, I want the new console, and she sees the PS3 or the Xbox 2, she's going to go, oh, he said he'll want the latest one. Get the PS3 rather than the 2.
Yeah, but I think these people also ask the people, like, what's the current thing right now? I think the marketing in the store will be massive, and it's like, and whoever's winning, it doesn't matter. Like say the Xbox 4 it's the current like, oh, everyone loves the Xbox 4. Like they'll just know, oh, I know Xbox. People buying Xbox. I saw it on the media. They sold like wildfire. I buy the Xbox. Like that implies like if Xbox like okay, I don't think the opposite would be true. Like if they released the Xbox 6, it wouldn't sell. I think if you then think about the opposite, it wouldn't happen. I don't think people care in the same way.
The Xbox 69 though, that would sell like, bro.
that would sell as a meme, yeah.
When the 1690 comes out, Nvidia have the opportunity to do some crazy memes here.
Yeah, I agree.
I
completely agree.
Anyway, let's talk about releases. We got Skin Deep, which came out, which is a new game from Blendo Games. They make weird shit for weird people. That's how I'm just gonna start describing these games. Like, so I saw somebody describe Promusa Mascot Agency. It's like it's a game designed by weirdos for weirdos, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But this came out the 30th of April. It's basically like a wacky, weird, immersive sim in space where you're trying to rescue cats and then like break out of windows and escape. It's an interesting game for sure. It like the cats, like it almost reminds me of jazz punk as well in like a lot of ways. It's a really
the humor.
Yeah, it's an interesting game.
Really odd. Yeah.
Initially, when my first 30 minutes, gone.
I was just thinking jazz punk is like, man, I just thought I could go for another jazz punk.
We need more jazz. I love jazz punk because it's just interesting. I don't know.
It's just a short, wild ride. It's just so cool.
Like, so look, are they making any games now? The last thing they did was make the DLC for Jazz Punk, right, in 2017, which I like the DLC for Jazz Punk.
I haven't played the DLC. Maybe I should go back and.
Yeah, I don't think it's as strong as the base game, but it's definitely worth checking out, I think.
Yeah. That's not really the way for DLC.
Anyway, somebody said, within my first 30 minutes of play, I was going to leave a negative review. It's an FPS. Where are the guns? Why do enemies take so many thrown objects to kill? Why can't I do stealth takedowns? And I found something. To some inconspicuous, to me a goofy scheme. The peel of a banana I threw at this guard's feet. The man tripped and got stunned. Executed shortly after. What if I used a bar of soap instead? The same result. Deodorant and a lighter, IED, hack grenade and an enemy turret, a cleared room. This game gives you the tools to succeed if you're willing to think outside the box. Dance to its tune and it'll dance to yours. You can go quietly, pickpocket keycards and fuse codes off of enemies.
Yeah, I think.
Or you can be silly little guy and kill everyone on the level with your silly little schemes. The choice is yours.
That brings an interesting point. Like, it's a lot of it's RPGs that I like see this as a problem. It's like, if you design the game where it's like the simple, like obvious thing like wins, why would you ever do the interesting stuff? So you kind of have to balance your game to not make.
Well, I was thinking about this game, and I was thinking about Warren Spector, who is one of the people who worked on Thief. Well, we often like to attribute large successes to one person because it's easier for us to think about.
The leader of this, yeah.
But, and I'm going to do that now. But I was thinking about some of the stuff he said where he was basically talking about this exact same thing where he's like, if we made it really easy to just walk up to somebody and immediately kill them with a sword, that's all you would ever do, basically.
Yeah.
And I remember playing through the original Thief and being like, if you walked up to an enemy and you tried to sword fight them, you would fucking die because you're not a sword fighter, you're a thief. And that some of my favorite lines of dialogue are in Thief, where you go up with the blackjack and you if you hit them from the front, they basically laugh at you and go, "A little baby woodpecker's trying to peck at me. Oh, isn't that cute?" They basically laugh at you when you try and take them down, sort of thing. But yeah, something I found with Skin Deep was from playing the demo. So I haven't played the full game, but from playing the demo, I found that there was a lot of interesting stuff I could do. But the easiest path for me was to just throw a bar of soap on the floor and then just jump on somebody's back. force them into like a bunch of pepper.
You found like a simple loop,
and then throw their head out the window and just clear the map of guards. But like, I could stealth and sneak behind the guards, and I could do this weird keycard thing. But to me, like the easiest, the path of least resistance was generally just jump on guards and just crash them into walls and then throw their heads out the window. But yeah, it's a cool game, and I think more people should give it a shot. You don't get most immersive sims are like you're in a derelict spaceship full of aliens. You're in a clockwork city.
It's very serious
with dark gore stuff going on, and it's like Skin Deep's like, yeah, you're making people trip over banana peels while you're rescuing cats from cages. Like, oh, and by the way, you can breathe in space, which is a weird concept, but it works really well in this game where you're just like, oh, I need to escape. Let me smash this window and fly out of it. Whee! Let's talk about the next. So that came out, seems overwhelmingly positive review, but it's 500 reviews, so a bit of a smaller pool on the review side there. Then we have Among Us 3D, Tony. I told you before they were going to be rebranding the Among Us VR 3D version into like a 2D version as well. Oh, side note, apparently I own this, Tony, I've just found out. Because I didn't know, as somebody who bought Among Us VR, was I going to get they didn't say if you were going to get a free version of this. Apparently I do. And it's a separate entity.
Just update the VR game, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, it's a separate thing because it doesn't say I have playtime in it. I can check my Steam library now. Let's have a look. Among Us. So that I still have a separate game called Among Us 3D VR, and then I have a new game called Among Us 3D.
Is one not? Oh, okay, right. So the VR. Okay,
so there's one that's the VR version, and then there's one that is the flat screen.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Let's see what people are saying about this. Too many little kids screaming. Other than that, very good game. Recommend. My experience of playing Among Us VR in public lobbies was there was a lot of children. A lot of children playing this game, which is to be expected if you're going into private lobbies of a popular game. They responded to the voice chat moderation concerns by doubling down and ultimately saying that yes, we have to review your private games and ban you for swearing in them. We have to for security. Sorry, but for what a disappointment. Until someone makes a mod that disables this lame moderation in private lobbies, this game will be dead. With only children, it will ironically be less of a safe place due to this being a place to find tons of children. How disappointingly seriously. The idea of this is great, but third-party audio monitoring is very questionable and illegal even without consent. What are they doing with the... Apparently they're monitoring voice chat for moderation purposes, I guess. And even if you're in a private lobby, it's still monitored.
Yeah. I would just do like the Minecraft route where you have private lobby, then warns you if it's been turned off.
Okay. Personally, I don't really care about this stuff. It doesn't really affect me as somebody who doesn't go into private lobbies and just start spouting out slurs. But if that's your thing, I guess this might be a selling point that's been crossed off for you. I understand you might have privacy concerns, right? But you're already playing a video game over the internet to a private company. I don't know. Maybe I just got I play a lot of multiplayer games. Like you load up Marvel Rivals and it's like voice chat is monitored. Yeah. We will be recording this. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm not even using voice chat. I don't care.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it just comes with the territory. But it seems like a lot of the negative reviews are the private lobbies thing, and it's less so about the game.
It does seem to limit private lobbies like that. I would just like say like these settings have been turned off, or like even just like these settings have been turned off, like you have to verify your age sort of thing. It's kind of how I would have gone about with that. I do feel like with private lobbies you've got to like presumably it's just like friends doing it at that point.
It seems like it seems like it's just it's Among Us in 3D, but with you know, voice chat, I guess. I don't think there is there's no voice chat in the original Among Us either, which is interesting. But I liked the VR version, and I played it for like a few hours with my friend, and we had no one else to play with because no one else owns VR headsets in current year. And we went into public lobbies, and we had to endure children screaming into their mics. But you know, it's the way of the road, bud. The way of the road. Revenge of the Savage Planet has come out. I have played the first game, but I only played it for like an hour max, maybe. It's getting mostly positive reviews, this one. I think it's out on Game Pass as well. This game is a lot of fun. There's always something to do, and each level brings something new and unique. There are puzzles to solve, but easy to play and not too difficult. However, the story feels a bit short. I finished it in just 2 days. I wish there was more missions. Hopefully there'll be an update soon. Proof that optimized games exist. Love the first one. Love this even more. Just wanted to get the tips from somebody who's playing co-op with no performance issues. Love the humor and gameplay so far. There's a few quality of life stuff that I wish existed. Mouse sensitivity, for example. But overall, my girlfriend and I have a long fun. I think this place is a bit rough, but the price is a bit rough, but it's very clear Des put a lot of love into it. The only thing I wish was there was a way to buy 2 copies at a discount or some kind of thing. It Takes Two where only one person buys the game. So, Zayer F. This used to be a thing on Steam where if you were buying multiple copies of a game, you could get a discount on it. And Steam had to stop it and have not offered it for a very long time because you can. There is still bundles of this if you were grandfathered in as a legacy store page, but people were abusing this to buy multiple copies of the game to resell onto key shop websites and stuff like that. Because it was just way cheaper to buy loads of copies and then put them on your G2As and your whatever, right? And it's a shame because that was legitimately a very good feature that it was ruined by bad actors, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said the price was too much. It's 20. Sorry, it's £30 to buy the game. That doesn't seem insane to me. There was a complaint. I guess he's saying it's £60 because me and my girlfriend both have to buy the game. I guess is what he's trying to say.
Oh, sure.
But that's kind of like, I think It Takes Two is the exception, not the rule, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Most co-op games you'll have to buy multiple copies of.
They can get away with it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I see it as a nicety when they do that, but yeah, I don't expect that.
And then finally we have GeoGuessr Steam Edition, which I was like, oh, if they release this on Steam as like a one-time purchase and actually added some interesting features to it, could be really good. And this game is overwhelmingly negative at 19% rating. I have heard you have to subscribe, and it's a separate subscription for the Steam version.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why did they not just unify it and make it just a launcher?
Somebody said, so it's like, it's just a demo. To continue progress, you must subscribe $2.55 a month or £30 a year to pay what is essentially like a browser game. I don't know. Somebody says just play OpenGuessr. That game has more features and is actually free. I've never heard of OpenGuessr. I've only ever heard of GeoGuessr. I guess there is a free GeoGuessr alternative. Interesting.
Does that get around? Does it still use Google search and get around by just putting?
There's somebody else has posted freeguesser.com. There's another free competitor to GeoGuessr. Somebody's linking just go to the web browser game instead. But yeah, people are. I was like, my initial question was, why put it on Steam in the first place? And I think I got my answer with, because we want to make more money from a bigger audience of people.
Yeah.
And that seems to have just backfired for them. So, not doing too well on that front, it seems like. Let's move on to quick. I got some quick news, and I think we're into the podcast then, Tony. We have. Oh, World of Warcraft is getting a one-button option that will automatically cast the next idea, the ideal next spell, but at a cost. So there was already I think there was already an add-on that was doing this, right? Where it's saying imagine you've never played a class before and you're not sure what spell you should be casting and what spells to cast, or the optimal spell to cast to get the most damage. There was an add-on that was basically highlighting the next one for you and saying you should cast this one. The devs were like, we don't want players to have to go to download external add-ons to play the game. WoW is already a massively add-on heavy game. I would every time I go to play WoW, I'm downloading 50 add-ons. It feels like a lot of features you want are inside the add-ons, and I know there's games that have struggled with this. WoW struggles with this. They try and add the best add-ons into the base game with every new expansion and stuff. I know Gary Newman of Gary's Mod is constantly goddamn, the fact that anyone who wants to play Gary's Mod has to buy, download, and install Counter-Strike Source to be able to, and own Half-Life 2 in order to be actually play the game and steal the models and everything. So I can understand wanting to bring this feature in. You can have a mode which highlights the next optimal spell, or they've even going to go and add a mode which will basically come with a optional one button mode that would allow you to have a simple press one button to automatically cast whichever spell the game is recommended you cast. So you'll basically be able to be press a button and it'll just kind of play the game for you, I guess, with the one button press.
I assume it optimize damage, but not take into account other things you need to think about. Or
so
maybe optimize
in World of Warcraft, there's a thing called the GCD, which is the global cooldown. And when you most spells in World of Warcraft are tied to the GCD. And what this is doing is, the way I see it, is essentially it's similar to the way modern mode works in Street Fighter, where you, as a new player, who is just completely overwhelmed, does not understand what's going on in World of Warcraft. I'm somebody who's been playing World of Warcraft for the past 20 years, and when somebody said that World of Warcraft was a hard game to get into, I was like, what are you talking about? It's a really simple game. And then I saw them talking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, if I didn't have the past 20 years of understanding Warcraft 3 and all this bullshit, I would probably be very confused right now. But it is so the way the GCD works is when you cast a spell, you have an internal cooldown in order to cast the next spell that is separate from that spell's cooldown. There is some abilities in WoW that are not tied to the GCD, but what essentially this is doing is, if you use this one button approach, this will add an additional small amount of time to the GCD in order to make it so you may be dealing more optimal damage than a person who doesn't know how to play the game, but you will never be dealing more damage than a good World of Warcraft player.
You have to learn it to. Okay.
This reminds me of people complain about I showed you the difference between casting Vulcan Sandblast as Luke in Street Fighter 6 on classic controls, and how you do it's diagonal, up, down, left, right, a bunch of inputs, and then on modern it's 2 buttons, and it's but when you play in modern mode on Street Fighter 6, I think you take a 20% damage penalty overall.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fair cost for being able to very quickly input combos.
I will say that I feel like this in World of Warcraft, this is even more extreme than that. I feel like you're still pressing, you're it is with the modern mode, it's simplifying it. It's you're just thinking what do I need to do to do this? Where the one button thing is more. I don't know what else you could do, because the way that how a typical MMO works, I don't know what else you could really do to make it
But again, this is an optional. This is an optional mode that lets you press one button.
Yeah.
There's also less intrusive mode that basically just says, hey, you might want to cast. I know my friend said I think Final Fantasy 14 does this, where you can have it so it'll be like highlighting the next ability that you might want to cast, sort of thing, which is quite
how the hell do you learn in game like what's best to do? Like,
because the answer for a lot of these games, like fighting games included, because they can be hard to get into, has been, well, you need to watch this video, you need to read this guide, you need to, on WoW's terms, you need to download this add-on. And they're saying, well, if you're going out of the game to do something that's a failure on our part, as a new player especially, but like I could, so as somebody who's been playing Street Fighter 6 in modern mode, I probably never would have got into the game if that option hadn't existed. So somebody who's been playing World of Warcraft for like 20 plus years, right? I am not at all upset that this mode exists. I'm glad that more people who would never be able to play World of Warcraft are now able to play a game I love, World of Warcraft. I think it's a good thing. And I know this is going to be a polarizing topic, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think there may be a question of like, is the, not maybe a punishment, but the cost being the one-button mode, is that enough? I could see that being a question, and I also feel like it's an intermediate step, or like, I know it's optional, you can then like press the buttons yourself, but I just wondering, it's an intermediate mode that makes sense. I don't know how you would do that, but
with every WoW expansion, they started giving like free boosts to you for buying the expansion. And the big thing for me was I would almost never use these boosts. But like I because I like to level up the character and learn the spells and all the abilities as I level up, and that's the way I enjoy learning the character. But I did like boost a warlock once because I was like, I have this free boost, let me use it, and I boosted the warlock to max level, and I started playing it, and I just never played on my boosted character because I had no fucking idea what I was doing. It was so confusing and overwhelming to play a character with 500 buttons that I had no idea what they would do. I was like, the boosting feature is useless to me. And I could see like
that makes sense.
This would make the boosting feature potentially a good thing for people. Like, hey, I want to play with my friend on a different faction. I'm going to boost a character to this level. I want to play a new character. I'm going to highlight the next optimal ability so I can kind of learn how to play the class at the higher, like the max level sort of thing, right? That's probably a good idea. And WoW is a game that evolves with the times, I guess.
I still think I still feel like they may be missing a point. Like, I feel like you don't want people to get stuck in the one button mode. Like, surely it should be like a thing to like jump into like understanding the class and then expanding out of it. So I feel like maybe there needs to be like, I think it's the first step. I think I just feel like there's maybe more that you can do and like more to as an intermediate step between one button mode and like the full mode. I feel like, again, like if it was like a more extreme version of like the modern controls for Street Fighter and other fighting games now,
they could have changed.
Like, I don't know what you do with a MMO.
They could have changed how like boosting characters works. Like, I haven't played this game since BFA.
That's true.
So I haven't played Shadowlands. I haven't played the Dragon one. I haven't played the new one that's just come out. When did BFA come out? I feel like it was 2018. I haven't played World of Warcraft in 7 years. So maybe I'm out of touch, but like World of Warcraft is a game that I always usually end up going back and playing at some point because I love World of Warcraft. So like but these days it has just been I'm going back and playing Classic instead.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Some of them might get me back, Tony. Legion Remix has been officially announced. Legion is legitimately one of my favorite WoW expansions ever. It's a time where I played like some of the most WoW past like the classic era of WoW.
When did it come out?
Legion must have come out like 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, August 2016. Because this was the expansion after Warbirds of Darnassus. You know, everyone's favorite.
Oh expansion. Yeah, that's my favorite one.
But Legion had its flaws, but I think it was like definitely one of my favorite iterations of modern WoW. And I liked like the whole like Illidan's redemption and Demon Hunter stuff. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, thematically pretty cool.
But basically, what they were doing with Classic was, I mean, they have gone up to Cataclysm Classic at this point now, so they could do Warlords of Draenor Classic if they wanted to. But basically, or Mop Classic. But what they did with Mop and what they're doing with this is what's called a remix, which is basically closer to like Season of Discovery, which what they did with Classic, where it's like a remix of the contents. They're adding like additional stuff that was never available at the time on top of it. And it's I think it's essentially like, it's not like a server they run for like years. It's like it's a few weeks to a month or something, right? Of time that'll be available. But the way they get you through it is they basically give you like 2 times or like 5 times XP rates on leveling. So they're just like, you quickly go through leveling, you learn your abilities in your character, and then you go and you play Legion and you try out the new stuff. So it's like you can try what Legion was about if you've never played it, but you can also be like, what's the new stuff they're adding? And that is they're adding Mythic Plus will be fully available in Legion Remix, and they're also adding a new increased difficulty world tier inspired by Diablo called the Shattered Timeline, where everything went worse. It will challenge open world players in a new and exciting way. So they're basically adding like a new difficulty for players as well, which is interesting. But yeah, I think that seems interesting. Whether that will get me to resub to World of Warcraft, probably not. But we'll see.
Depends what they add to it, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's end the podcast. We got our Peter Molyduex tweet. Designers of yesterday, let's create a game that invokes my childhood memories of exploring the woods. Designers of today, what if we made a first-person shooter, but blueprints? ? I feel like Peter Molyduex he's kind of reaching the bottom of the barrel now. He's just being like, Balatro but Snake, I think was the last one. I feel like we're just naming games that should never go together in humorous ways. But
yeah.
He is one of the last big Peter Molyneux fans out there. I've got to give him credit for that. So, whatever that's worth, I guess. So you can check us out, youtube.com/@everythinginbetween podcast. If you want to watch the YouTube VODs, we'll have Spotlight and hopefully Tangerine there. Twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch us live. And shows.cast.com/everything-in-between podcast. There will be links to the Spotify and Apple Podcast version. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.